Today's guest is Nurse HODL, a registered nurse who's waking up inside the very system he was trained to trust. He hasn't left healthcare, but he's seeing it with new eyes, and Bitcoin was the catalyst. In this episode, we dive deep into his personal awakening, the lies he's uncovered, the truths that he's living, and how Bitcoin is reshaping his view of health, sovereignty, and purpose. Nurse HODL, Ralph, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me on, man. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you again, man. I appreciate the invite. I'm looking forward to the conversation, man. I know the last time we had a blast, man. I'm expecting the same this time.
Yeah, we're going to take it to even higher levels this time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So why don't we start with you talking about your orange pill moment? When was it that Bitcoin really clicked for you?
Orange pill moment. I want to say, so when I first bought Bitcoin, I was like back in 2019. But like back then, I was just buying Bitcoin because it was a nice way for me to diversify because that's what I was told. Just get the S&P 500, buy a few chip stocks, invest into some AI stocks, and then get a 5% crypto. And then back then too, when I was buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, a bunch of other stuff too. So that's when that all started. But it wasn't until 2023-ish, I believe. That's when I started getting a little bit more curious about Bitcoin. And that was because I just remember looking at the inflation report back then, and I remember it was saying like somewhere along 8 to 9%, how inflation went up as high as 8 to 9%. And then I was looking around and nobody else was concerned about that. It's like all the other nurses were just like, everything's fine. I'm like, hey, we only got a 2% raise. Should we be asking our boss for a 10% raise or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, why is nobody else talking about it? And then so I didn't want to be that guy that asked my boss for a 10% raise. So I just went home and I was looking for a way to, I guess, protect myself against from inflation. And obviously when you Google stuff like that, Google's gonna tell you, oh yeah, buy gold. Gold is the best edge against inflation. So I wasn't really looking for Bitcoin. I was actually looking to buy some gold. And I always like to do research before I invest into anything. And I was doing my research on gold, and I remember I came across a video that says that in 2024, the inflation rate of Bitcoin is going to be less than the inflation rate of gold after the halving event. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? I didn't even know what the halving event was. I didn't know that much about Bitcoin. I didn't know anything. I was like, okay, that got me curious. I was like, okay, like if something is gonna be more rare than gold, then I should probably look into it. So I went in and I came across another video that says, hey, if you want to learn more about Bitcoin, read the book, The Bitcoin Standard. And I was not much of a reader back then because English is my third language, and I was like, I don't really like reading these thick books. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna download Audible, I'm gonna listen to the audiobook, and I'm gonna try to learn about it. And honestly, after I read that book, after I guess listened to it, I personally thought that Safe Moose was crazy. I was like, there ain't no way that this guy is telling me that we used to use different forms of money and nobody else knows about this. I was like, wait, so you telling me that we used to use a rock with a hole in the middle as money? You tell me that we used to use seashells as money? Like, you tell me that we used to use, like, you name it, cigarettes. We used to use, like, cows, cattle. Like, I did not know about all this. To me, money was like that piece of paper. That's all it was. So I started doing more research about the history of money. I read a book that's called The History of Money, and that was interesting. And then I came across another guy his name is Professor Jonathan Barth on YouTube. I think he's a professor at ASU, and he has a full YouTube video about the history of money. He goes back to the Roman empires and way back then, and each video is like anywhere between 20 to 45 minutes long. And I watched the whole thing, and I was like, after I understood the history of money, and I saw the same thing kept happening to every single currency. It's like they just print it until it's gone. And I was looking at what's happening right now. I was like, crap, I think I hit a panic mode at some point. I was like, I need to get me some Bitcoin because this is crazy. Like I need to get me some. And I just started selling out of everything. I was like, okay, yeah, I need to get me some of this asset as fast as possible. I was just selling all my stocks, selling everything that I could have, anything that was in profit. I was like, okay, transition. And then I guess the short answer is basically when I understood the history of money. And I think that's something that's hard because they don't make it easy in school, right? They don't teach us any of this. You have to go look for the information yourself. I don't know what you think about that. I feel like it's not something that it's not easy to know.
Yeah, I love that perspective that you're bringing because you're absolutely right. They don't make it easy, and it's by design. It's on
Yeah.
purpose. They do
Yeah.
not want us to know
Yeah.
because if we did know, if people knew how the monetary system worked,
Yeah.
it would be rioting by tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a
Or
famous quote by somebody that said that.
Henry, was it Henry Ford, I believe?
I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
was Henry Ford.
Yeah.
If the masses knew exactly how the financial system worked,
Yeah.
there would be a revolution
Right.
by tomorrow. And
Yeah.
it's actually very true. If people
That is.
did understand, if they saw what we saw,
Oh yeah.
they would not stand for it. It's pretty wild
Yeah.
what happens. And that's what I love about the way that you see things and the way that I see things is because we are just coming at it from the perspective of a regular person.
Yeah.
We're not financial experts.
Oh yeah.
We just happen to look into it a little bit because we realized how important it was to figure out where to put our life force, which is what money represents. It's a representation of our time and energy. So we just realized how important that is, and we realized that why are we just trusting what we've been told?
Yeah.
We should at least do a little bit of research.
Right.
And you and I both just started by doing a little bit of research, and we had the same reaction. This is crazy. That can't be true.
Yeah.
These people are conspiracy theorists or they're crazy. And that's exactly how the fiat system keeps people under control is by anyone who starts to look into it, they label them a conspiracy theorist or crazy.
Yep.
And they say, just go back to your box. That if you're thinking outside the box, then there's something wrong with you, and you get discredited. And it works.
It does. It
It's
does.
crazy.
It does.
But you
Yeah,
and I are just logical thinkers.
right.
We're just like, hey guys, just look into this monetary system. It's crazy. So what was it that made you realize that it's not crazy? Like you said, Seyfedina Moose, you thought he was crazy. And that's exactly what I thought. When people are talking about inflation is theft, I'm like, they're just being dramatic. What are they talking about? That's kind of conspiracy theorist thinking. The world is fine. If it was that crazy, it wouldn't be allowed to exist like this. But how would you explain to someone, how would you help them have the epiphany that you and I have had to explain that it's actually not crazy?
I think you have to, I think it's, I think you have to go look at history. I think you have to study history. I think you have to look at what has happened in the past, right? It doesn't mean that not everything, I guess history doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes, right? If you look into what has happened in the past, and also if you look at the history of America, our founding fathers, they were not for central banks at all. They knew that these consequences. There are so many different quotes from I don't remember exactly if it was James Madison or I don't know, some of the founding fathers. They were like, hey, if you allow somebody to control and issue the currency, like our kids would have no future. There's so many. I wish I could pull them up to show. I think I made a few videos about those, but there's so many different quotes, and how Thomas Jefferson was also another one that was extremely against central banks, and how he actually got rid of the Federal Reserve back in the 1800s. I can't remember the exact dates. It's like you have to understand the damage that like money printing and like when you give somebody the ability to control a currency and to issue money, they will cheat. That's what Bitcoin is so powerful, because this is the first time ever that we have a money that cannot be manipulated by anybody. That I think that's what people need to understand. Once they understand that, it's okay. Like in the past, every form of money that we've had, and actually I want the viewers to go look it up. Look up how many different forms of money that we've had in the past. Like it's in the thousands. We've had so many different forms of monies. So once you understand that, okay, why did all these different forms of, why did they collapse? Why did they go to zero? It's just the same. They all suffered the same fate. Every fiat currency in the past has failed. And the US dollar, the Vietnamese dollar, the Chinese dollar, every single one of them is going to suffer the exact same fate. So once you understand that, like you will realize that, okay, like I should probably find me a currency or a form of money that cannot be manipulated by anybody. So Bitcoin is actually the less risky. And I don't want to call it an investment because to me it's a savings account, but Bitcoin is the less risky thing out there, to be honest. I know people see it as, oh my God, it's so volatile, but once you really dive into it, it's no, like it's just it's the best way to save your money, really, so that it doesn't get debased. Yeah.
And I'm very curious about how you talked about gold, how you
Hmm.
initially were looking into gold. And gold, because they talk about Bitcoin as digital gold.
Yep.
And I think this is a very important point too, is that people often write off people that are into Bitcoin as being crypto bros, or it's because of how the media portrays Bitcoin as being in that crypto bucket. So that causes people to write off what we're saying as, oh, I don't want to look into that crypto stuff, or I heard it's a scam. But for people like you and I, and for most people that are into Bitcoin, it's not about being into crypto, because obviously crypto and Bitcoin are polar opposites, and it's frustrating that it gets lumped into that.
Yeah.
But what we are tuned into is this aspect of what makes gold appealing.
Mm.
Bitcoin didn't exist, you and I would be all about gold, because it's not
Yeah.
about being a crypto bro or trying to make a lot of money. It's just about what's the soundest form of money. And if Bitcoin didn't exist, it would be gold.
Yep.
But Bitcoin just happens to be like gold, but
Yeah.
100 times better.
Yep.
So can you talk about why Bitcoin is better than gold?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point because for the longest, so like when I was looking into gold, I was like this close to getting quite a bit of it just because I was like,
Mhm.
you know what, I need a way to save my money. And then when you start looking at the characteristics of gold, it's okay, like gold is great, but like still there's like a 2% inflation rate, right? And what is it? I think 35 years, the supply is basically on a double. Okay. You can't really transact in it. It's not like you can buy coffee with gold, right? It's not easily verifiable, right? You have, I don't even know how to verify a gold bar. If you were to give me a gold bar, I wouldn't know how to verify that it's real because there's so many scammers out there that have, I don't know if you've seen any videos online about how they are able to like make gold, like object appear like it's gold. There's so many of those videos. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, there's no way I would ever accept one of those things.
Yeah.
Not a chance. And also, the other thing about gold is that if I wanted to, if I wanted to send you some money, right? Like I could easily send you like 10,000 Satoshis for where you're at. I can't do that with gold. There's so many different things that about gold that are like, I guess like flaws about gold that people don't think about when they compare these two. So that being said, gold, it's not like gold is bad, but when you really look at it, gold is just I think my smart camera is like acting up. Hold on, let me see if I can. Oh, I just got a new camera and this thing is crazy. I know. But when you look at it really at gold is just a shining rock, right? It's just a rock that people it served as money because that was the best thing that we had back in the days. But now that we have a better version of it, a version that people can transact in, that is divisible, that is like fungible, that like Bitcoin is just 10 times better. If and you're right, like if I didn't find Bitcoin, I think I would be a gold bug as well. I think I would because gold is honestly the second best. It's because I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't perform as well, but as far as something that you can truly own, I guess gold would be because in stocks, when you buy stocks, right, that money is on a platform that somebody can just basically take away from you whenever they want, right? But gold, you can actually have gold in your own hand, until somebody else more powerful than you takes it from you, which makes Bitcoin 10 times better, right? Because Bitcoin, nobody can take it from you unless you give them your seed phrase, right? So there's so many things about gold that makes it less superior, like that makes it inferior to Bitcoin. So it's like I understand the gold bugs. I get it. I would be a gold bug too, but like when you start comparing these two, there's no competition whatsoever. Like gold, like Bitcoin is far more superior than gold in every aspect. And even like when they talk about like the end of the world, like when let's say we have a crisis, it's not people are not gonna use gold to transact. Like that gold bar is just gonna it's just gonna stay in your basement. Nobody's gonna be able to transact, buy a cup of coffee with gold if we have a financial crisis. But you can still transact with Satoshis, right? Because they're very divisible. You can't melt gold and buy a cup of coffee. There's so many, I don't know. It's, yeah, but without Bitcoin, I don't know what I would be investing into now, to be honest with you.
I love this conversation because I think it comes at it from an angle that people can logically understand.
Yeah.
So if people aren't orange pilled yet, if you just think about the differences between gold and Bitcoin and see why Bitcoin is so much better, that can be a golden opportunity to get orange pilled. Because like you mentioned, there's just so many reasons why Bitcoin is superior to gold. And another one of the reasons is because there's actually a ton of gold underneath the earth. There's so much
Hmm.
gold. The only thing that's limiting us from getting it is that it just costs a lot to drill down to get it.
Yep.
But if the price of gold were to increase, then there'd be more companies that would try to extract more gold. And then as more companies get more gold, the supply increases, which would then bring the price down. Whereas Bitcoin doesn't have that.
Yep.
As the price of Bitcoin goes up, people actually want it more. And as the price of Bitcoin goes up, you can't go and get more.
Yeah.
It's got absolute scarcity.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why gold is such a valuable teacher, because people can understand that gold is scarce and that's what makes it valuable. But imagine Bitcoin is not only scarce, but absolutely scarce. So even as the price is going up, you can't go and dig more like you can gold. So there's also this concept of Bitcoin being a Veblen good. Have you heard of that before?
No, I've not. What is that?
It's basically when something becomes more valuable, people want it more.
Okay.
So as the price goes higher and higher, it's going to become a Veblen good. It already is a Veblen good where people want it more. It becomes more desirable the higher the price.
Yeah.
And that's what we see when we see Bitcoin go on these price runs. Everyone piles in and wants more and
Right.
more.
And also the other thing too, I don't know if you've ever seen these reports. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I've seen some research about how there are some scientists that are able to turn lead into gold for a very fraction of, for a few seconds. I don't know if that's going to become a thing at some point in the future, if with technology we'll get better at it. And I don't know, I don't really know much about it, but just thinking about that, oh, okay, so you can turn other molecules into gold is interesting too. And I'm like, and then recently, I don't know how true that is. Of course, I don't. This is something that I just read briefly. Apparently, there is some sort of was it a, hold on, actually, give me one sec, because I want to get this one right. Hold on.
Yeah.
There's some bacteria apparently that can cook gold by eating toxic metal. I haven't
Wow.
dove into it yet, but I just want to look into this one. But this is just something that I saw recently. I was like interesting. Yeah, just think about that. You can always find more gold. You can always create more gold. But like Bitcoin is actually the first time we've never had something with absolute scarcity, like you said. So
Yeah.
that's something to look into for sure. Even if you're not interested, let's at least look into it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't tell me that something went from $0 to $100,000 and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna look into. Like, you have to look into it. If your financial advisor is not looking into Bitcoin, fire this guy, man. You
Yeah.
can't tell me that this is not something to look into. No, like, you have
Yeah.
to look into it. Yeah.
And just another really practical way to explain it to people that I think a lot of people will understand is it's easy to look back at what's happened the last 30 years and see how things have gone from analog to digital, say with photos or
Yeah.
videos, or pretty much everything in life is having an analog transformation into
Yeah.
digital.
Yeah.
And with every transformation, not only does the digital version match the analog version in scale, but it surpasses it times 10
Yep.
at least.
Yep.
And so why would that be any different with Bitcoin?
Yep.
So if Bitcoin is digital gold, and that's just one aspect of it, it's a
Mhm.
great way to understand it, but Bitcoin is so much more than just digital gold.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
if you just look at it from the digital gold aspect,
Yeah.
right now we're only at 1/10 the value or the market cap of gold. So if all we do is reach gold's market cap, that right there brings us to 800,000 or 1 million a coin. And that's just matching gold. And of course we're going to match gold. It's a given.
Yeah.
But what we've seen is that things far surpass it. They go times 10, times 100.
Yep. Yep.
So if we match it, we're at 1 million. If we do what everything else has done, that brings us to 10 million, 100 million right there. And
Easily.
yeah.
Yeah. No, and the thing is too, it's like, it's once you understand like Bitcoin truly, what it's meant for. It's like such an insult to call Bitcoin digital gold because
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like it's just so much more than just digital gold. It's like a nice way to explain it to people
Mhm.
at the beginning, but it's so much more than digital. It's, I don't know, man. Like it feels like, because nobody talks about gold and they're like, oh yeah, man, ever since I bought gold, I felt more free, had more time. No, nobody talks about gold like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody goes on podcasts and talk about gold like their life just turned around. You know what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin, there's something else about Bitcoin that just, I don't know what it is, man. It just, I don't know, man. It just create this thing in your brain where it makes you think about how valuable your life is. It makes you think about, okay, now I can relax and I know that my purchasing power is not going to be eaten away and I can actually focus on the things that I love. You know what I'm saying? It's so much more than just like a digital version of a rock. So I just want to throw it out there. Like the term digital gold is just I guess for the normies, it's a
Mhm.
good way to start, but yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I want my channel to represent is
Yeah.
exactly what you were just touching on right there about
Yeah.
how it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
And so clearly it's had this big impact on your life
Yeah.
and it's had a huge impact on my life. It's had a huge impact on so many people's lives. But for people that don't know what we're talking about, can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah.
What kind of impact has it had and how has it changed your life?
Yeah, I want to say, I guess like before Bitcoin, I think I'm honestly, I feel like I am not saying that to brag. I'm one of the hardest working people out there. Like I am a hard worker. Like I will,
Mhm.
if I know that I need something, I will bust my butt and I will get it. But so I think during COVID, I think I was working a lot, 40, 60 hour weeks, just hustling. And then I think I hit a wall. I think I hit a wall. And then I realized that, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm making all this money. I'm getting taxed like 25% of my salary is going away to who knows. And I'm struggling to pay my student loans. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? And it wasn't until like I started learning about Bitcoin that I realized that okay, like Bitcoin opens your mind and makes you think about what else. Like it's not. I'm not saying not to work. It's just like when you start to understand Bitcoin and you can actually save your money and not because when you're in the fiat system, you constantly have to work because you need to keep up. You have to keep up because you don't understand why your savings account is not keeping up. You don't understand why your S&P 500 that's increasing at 7 to 10% a year is not you don't understand why that's like still barely keeping up with inflation because you don't understand money printing yet. But like when you start saving into Bitcoin and you have the time to think for yourself, it just makes you, I don't know, it makes you healthier. Because back then I was working a lot, I was gaining weight, I couldn't play, I couldn't like enjoy my hobbies. I don't know. I feel like things were not going well for myself. And I just needed to step back. I just needed a break to be like, okay. I thought becoming a nurse meant that I was gonna have money. I thought I was gonna live a good life. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? Why am I a nurse and I'm still struggling? I thought if I followed everything that they said, if I took on this student loan, I thought if I did all this, I would be all set. That's what I thought. And then I went in and I was like, oh, I'm working just as much as I was before. Before a nurse, actually, I was a pharmacy tech for 5 plus years, and I was like, okay, like I'm working literally as much as I was before. Why is it that I can't keep up? I feel like I'm just still just treading water. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I think once you understand that, oh, it's the money. That's why I cannot keep up with anything. It's the money. Once you understand that, I think it will change your life, honestly. Yeah. It's not like it's Bitcoin that changes your life necessarily. It's like just understanding why somebody created Bitcoin. Why did Bitcoin come into the picture? Once you understand why Bitcoin, that's the question you need to ask. Why Bitcoin? Why are we not talking about Nvidia? Why are we not talking about like Microsoft or some other, I don't know, Palantir? Why are we not talking about these other stocks instead? Why are we talking about Bitcoin? You know what I'm saying? Once you start questioning that and understand why this thing is so special, then you will realize, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it now. Yeah.
So I think you have a gift for breaking things down very clearly for normal people. And I think that's what we need in this Bitcoin space. And that's why it's very important for people like you and for me to come in and explain Bitcoin in the way that we're explaining it.
Yep.
So you touched on it because you said it's once you see the money printing, then it opens your eyes and then it makes your life better. But can you connect that a little bit for people? Because once you see it, it's clear. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, can you connect the dots for people? Like, how does the money printing lead to you being trapped in this rat race? And how does understanding that Bitcoin solves for that, how does that make your life better?
Yeah. It's I could take this could take an hour. I think so. I'm gonna try to like let me try to find a way to make it simple. I want the viewers to go look into 1971 to start with, because I think that's a very important date that I think people they underestimate. Like I don't think enough people are talking about it. Although us Bitcoiner, we talk about it. We talk about it all the time. But
Mhm.
1970, I believe the date was August 15, 1971, when Nixon said that when Nixon decoupled the dollar to gold. And I remember the specific quote when he said, "Your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today," or yeah, something like that. I want people to go look at that. That I think because it's gonna be extremely difficult for me
Mhm.
to explain it in one podcast. And before that date too, it's not like the dollar wasn't losing value. It was already happening. But once that happened, that gave that gave the Federal Reserve and governments around the world the ability to just create as much money as possible. Because it's if you're because a lot of people still think that the dollar is backed by gold. That's the thing. So they still believe that the dollar is actually they still believe that the dollar is going to keep its value. Because inflation is tricky because it's something that you cannot see. Back in the days, the one of the reasons why the Roman Empire fell is because the coins that they were using to transact in, they were like using like lesser metals for as a form of inflation, right? Like or chipping the metals and like making them less valuable that way. So you could weigh the metal, right? But you cannot weigh a piece of paper. So you can't really see the inflation. It's hard. It's disguised as it's like this invisible devil. So that I understand why people it's taking people so long to understand it. That I totally understand because it took me a while too. So I think once you understand why did this happen in 1971? Look at the graph. Look at the value of the dollar ever since then. Once you look at the dollar, how much is lost, and then look at the dollar compared to other currencies in other countries. Once you look at that and you see what's been happening and what has happened in the past, it will make sense, honestly. Yeah, it's a very complicated subject that I don't know if I definitely don't think I answered your question, but I think looking into 1971, why that happened is actually a good start, really.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There, yeah. Sorry, that was such a huge question, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's all good. No, you got me thinking. You got me thinking because I'm like, you know what? I should, yeah, no, I like
I,
it. I like
I
it.
think a lot of people will benefit from your perspective
Hmm?
because you just logically break things down. And like for instance, with me, my fiance knows how into Bitcoin I am, and I've tried to explain it, and she's very curious, and she gets it
Yeah,
in small pieces. But
nice.
I feel like there's just one small click that I
Yeah,
struggle to help guide her down,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I think that yeah, it all it takes is someone like you or just some other just normal person just to explain it in a practical way. It's
right.
not we have to like get away from this financial jargon and just in a practical way explain
Mhm.
it to people
Yeah,
because it's so important
yeah.
for people to realize this.
Okay. The other thing too is let's look at it in a numbers perspective, right? So let's say, so we both know, so they tell us inflation is 2%, 3%, whatever.
Mhm.
Both know that's BS, right? And inflation is not the definition, their definition of inflation is not what it says online. The inflation is caused by one thing and one thing only, and that is caused by money printing. Print blank, period. Look at the amount of money, look at the percentage of money printing per year since, let's say, 2000, right? That number is okay. So the past 100 years, they've been increasing the money supply by about 7%, right? In the past 25 years, it's been closer to I want to say 10 to 14%, to be honest with you. So inflation is actually almost double digits if you really look at it. Now, if you know that inflation is in the double digits and you are trying to retire, what are your best options? You have the S&P 500 is barely keeping up with inflation. Gold is somewhere around 4 to 5%. It's stable. It just stays the same, right? You have your target date fund is, oh my God, I think I was looking into it. It was barely like maybe 6% because they're investing like bonds and all of this. Yeah, a bunch of crap. It's not worth it at all. So like you look at everything that you have, nothing is beating the true rate of inflation, except for maybe the Magnificent Seven. They are maybe keeping up with that, and then Bitcoin. If you're looking at as in a number, like just trying to beat inflation, Bitcoin is already the best asset to own, right? Nothing else is going to outpace inflation. So just that alone, just trying to understand that, oh, okay, everything else that you have is not going to be able to do 14% per year. Like nothing else is going to do 14% per year except for maybe the NASDAQ, right? Once you understand that, it's okay, maybe I should look into this Bitcoin thing because it's actually outperforming. It's actually almost tripling the rate of inflation. I think maybe coming that way, explain it in that way, maybe that might help. I don't know if just actually, oh, that's what it is. I think explaining inflation, that's what it is. Yes. What is the real rate of inflation? I think they need to understand that. That's what it is. Yeah, because once you understand that inflation, because for me it was the same thing. Once I understood that inflation was not just 2%, it was way more than that. It was that once you understand that, then yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Inflation is not 2%, and it
Yeah.
basically just highlights how we are gaslit by society. They
Yep.
expect us to just believe that it's 2%, and they provide us with some data, and they're like, "See, it's official.
Yep.
We analyze these items, and it's 2%. So calm down. You're a conspiracy theorist. It's only 2%."
Yep.
But if you're just logical, it's just common sense.
Yeah.
It's so much higher. It's
Yeah.
at a 10 to 14% at least.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just being gaslit, and once you see it, it's so hard to just go back to the way we were going through life before.
Yep. Oh,
And
yeah.
it's not going to stop. That's also another important part of it is the money
Yeah.
printing. It'd be one thing if they've been on this trajectory and they've been printing, and a new administration comes in and they can just stop printing. But there's that Lynn Alden quote: "Nothing stops this train." Nothing they can do to stop this trajectory. They have
Yeah.
to keep printing to keep maintaining the illusion. And once
Yep.
you know that they have to keep printing, it means that inflation is just going to keep going up and up. And the other important thing to understand about this is that as inflation goes up, you protect yourself by getting assets. As more and more money floods the system, which is what happens when you print money, and which is what inflation is, there's a fixed amount of assets, and that money will find its way into those assets.
Yep.
So if you're holding an asset, you're protected because that extra money printing will find its way into those assets.
Yep.
And while all the prices of all the goods are getting more expensive, which hurts the common person, but the people who are holding assets are protected. And if you look at what assets are best right now, it's obviously Bitcoin. If you look at just the market cap of the most valuable things in the world, gold is number one right now, but you just see Bitcoin just slowly making its way up. I think it's 4 right now or
Yeah.
something. There's like a couple.
Yes. Number 5, number 4.
Amazon or Nvidia are ahead of it, but
Yeah.
at its pace, it's by the end of 2025, it might overtake those things and just be right behind gold, and then it's just a matter of time before it matches gold.
Oh, yeah.
So if you just zoom out and look at it like that,
Oh, yeah.
it's this unstoppable force, and
yeah.
it makes sense to just jump on it and ride it.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing too is that when you look at all these other assets, right? If you look at, let's say you're looking at equities, you're looking at gold, you're looking at bonds, you're looking at real estate. Oh my God, my Zoom thing. Hold on. I'm not getting used to this. Hold on. Oh, yeah, there you go. So what do all of these different assets have in common? All of them, like you can always make more of them, right? They will always find more gold. They can always issue more shares for bonds. You can always make more real estate. I know they say real estate is scarce, but like you can always make more houses. It's not that scarce. Not compared to gold and Bitcoin. Real estate is not that scarce. I don't know why people keep saying that real estate is scarce. It's not that scarce. Yeah, you're looking at all these different assets. You can always make more of all of them. The only thing that you cannot make more of is Bitcoin. Out of all of these different assets, and you're looking at their market cap, and it's out of all of them, Bitcoin is only 2 trillion. It's like, damn, that's $2 trillion, and it's the most scarce. I think the graph, like looking at the price of Bitcoin being like above $100,000 I think that's like we're looking at the wrong measurement, right? Because that's not how we should be measuring Bitcoin. That price is an illusion. Look at the graph, that the
Yeah.
$1 quadrillion
Mhm.
market cap that we have, right? You have little Bitcoin right there in the corner. That's 2 trillion. Gold 20 something, 28 trillion, like you said. Equities, bonds, real estate, all of that. Look at that graph. That's what you need to look at to see how early we are. That when I saw that graph, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like we have so much room to grow, like so much room. Imagine not if, but when Bitcoin takes, let's say, becomes like a $300 trillion market cap. People are gonna look at us and be like, oh my God, like these guys, how did these guys know? You know what I'm saying? Like how, like it's going to happen. It's not an if, a when, right? Like it's going to happen because the demand is there. People are starting to wake up. They're starting to understand that, oh, there's something wrong here. The bond market is losing hell of value every year.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Everything else is losing value except for Bitcoin, right? It's like it's going to happen eventually. There's no, like Lynn said, nothing stops the strain. They're gonna keep printing, and all that money is gonna look for a place to be, and that place is going to be Bitcoin eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about Bitcoin is how it opens your eyes in a financial aspect, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. Once your eyes get opened in terms of all of the corruption that goes on in the financial markets, it really just serves as the spark to then reevaluate everything in your life. Like you and I in healthcare, we now see healthcare through a new lens and we see all the problems with fiat healthcare and fiat food. And like you said, it just changes your life in every possible way. So,
Mhm.
do you feel like you've had an awakening?
Oof. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. You want to dive into the healthcare word, the
Yeah.
healthcare world? Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh man. Yes, I have. I remember the last
Yeah.
episode we had. We briefly dove into that one. And the past like few months, I've been like looking more into it. And
Mhm.
I gotta say, I don't. I feel like I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't
Yeah.
like what I'm seeing so far because
Mhm.
everything that I was told in school, I
Mhm.
feel like I'm just now noticing that, damn, like this, it's not true. Like
Yeah.
everything, like it's come into a point where I'm like afraid to know more. And I
Mhm.
don't know if you know what I'm saying. It's
I do. Yeah.
like I'm diving into some of the medications. Like I'm looking into
Man.
cholesterol and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought high cholesterol caused heart attack. Oh, that's
Mhm.
not true. Oh shit. I've recently started diving into the vaccines, and I used to think that anti-vaxxers were bad crop crazy.
Mhm.
And I don't know anymore. I've only
Mhm.
scratched the surface and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say anything yet because I don't know much about it. I need to do more research. But yeah, I oh man, there's so much there is so much there. I don't think I'm qualified enough to talk to to say too much about it, but man, it's one of those things where even like something as simple as diabetes and understanding,
Mhm.
if you look at like history again, once again, if you look at the like when did the obesity crisis really start?
Mhm.
If you really
Yeah.
look at it,
Yeah.
it literally started around 1980, 1970, right? And then
Mhm.
what happened in 1970? No, what happened in 1971, right? I'm not saying that Nixon caused a bunch of people to get fat, but if you really look like if you look at everything else that was happening before and everything that was happening after 1971, everything combined, and then we ended up with a bunch of obese people with diabetes, hypertension, a bunch of different medical problems that we did not have before. And then on top of that, you have like the food pyramid scam. It's eat this much carbohydrates. Oh, fats are bad for you. Oh, you should not eat this much meat. You put all of these together. It's damn, like, how
Mhm.
did we just, I don't know, man. It makes you feel like, it makes you feel of, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know the words to explain I don't even know how to explain it, man. Once you dive into this rabbit hole, it's Jesus. Like even I, as a nurse, I feel like I've been given I've been saying the wrong thing to my patients. I just feel bad because I was like, oh wow, this is wrong. I don't, you know how like Jack Mahler says, I don't do dollars. Like I literally don't do medication. I don't even take Tylenol when I don't take nothing. I'm
Mhm.
just like, yo, I'm good. I'm gonna stay away from these things because I feel like medications are not a way to make you healthy. They are just a way for somebody else to make profit. It's yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We could have a whole podcast about just healthcare and
Yeah.
medications. It goes deep, man. I don't know what's your experience about that, man. I don't know. Let me know if I'm crazy or not, man.
No, everything you're saying are things that I feel the exact same way that you do about
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
it's disillusioning and
Yeah.
it's scary. And I feel the exact same emotions as you because as a doctor, I felt like I did what society wanted me to do. I studied hard. I sacrificed a lot of my 20s and became a doctor and doing exactly what the fiat system told me to do. And I
Yeah.
never questioned it. That's probably
Yeah.
the scariest part is that I've been in this system for 15 years and I never questioned it.
Yeah.
And now that I've had this awakening, it's scary because
Yeah.
I'm in healthcare and I didn't even see it. Imagine people that aren't in healthcare. How are they ever
Mhm.
going to see it if I was right
Right.
there and I didn't see it? And it's also scary too because it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning about how the fiat system labels this kind of thinking as conspiracy theory thinking. You
Mm.
talk about it, then you get labeled as a wacky, crazy person, and
Yeah.
it's hard to talk about it. But that is what excites me the most about this Bitcoin awakening is that it's so much bigger than just money. It's so much bigger than just digital gold. It's about this global awakening. So just the fact that we're having this conversation means that we're bringing it into the collective consciousness and more people are waking up to these ideas. And that's the first step is awareness. Because if we're asleep, if we're just not questioning it, then there's no hope of there ever being any change. The first step is awareness and
Yeah.
waking up.
Yeah.
And people all over the world are waking up. This conversation is just a microcosm of what's going on out there.
Oh yeah.
And that's why you and I felt compelled to snap out of our days that we were in, snap out of that fiat illusion
Yep.
and just put the word out there. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No, I know
so
it's actually it's actually wild. It's actually wild. Even I was just thinking about it too. It's even now that the sun is actually hitting me, it's like even something as simple as the sun.
yeah,
Spending time
yeah.
spending I for the longest time I did not know the benefits of the sun. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
you have people telling you, oh, put on sunscreen, put, do this, do that. It's like, no, you need to spend some I almost feel like I need to start fresh. Like everything, I need to pretend that everything that I learned in school, everything that I've been told, it's okay. Let me try to forget all of that and relearn everything that there is about both money and health. I feel like I need to learn everything. Like yeah. I'm just like, yeah. I know now. I know I don't know anything. I truly don't know anything. Yeah, yeah.
That's such a huge step to admit you don't know anything. And
Yep.
and I'm admitting that to myself too. I'm
Yeah,
like, man, I went to all these years of school and I'm supposed to be the doctor with all the answers, but
yeah,
hey, I don't know anything.
yeah.
I know nothing about what actually creates health. All I know
Right,
is what they taught me in
right.
medical school, which was essentially indoctrination,
Yep,
making me think that every symptom needs a medication.
yep.
So now I'm just trained, oh, you're complaining of that? Okay, here's this pill.
Yeah,
That's all I can do. It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
almost like it's a glorified like factory worker almost.
Right.
Here's the algorithm. They come in with this, you give them
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And
And
that's
it's not
not,
your
yeah,
fault. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what you're told. That's you
yeah,
just doing your job. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. It's just that's what you learn. And no,
yeah.
that's yeah. No, man, that's sad.
Yeah, so I'm so honored to be on this journey with you and other people like you
Hmm.
because I think that's what's our purpose is
Yep.
to show other people that we don't have the answers, but we're on this path of waking up and it's okay if you don't have the answers, but what's important is to question things.
Yeah.
And you can question things and not feel guilty about it and not feel like you're a conspiracy theorist. I still struggle with that. I still have a little bit of guilt.
Yeah.
Am I being a conspiracy theorist? Am I
Hmm.
crazy? Should I
Hmm.
just go back into the that fiat illusion?
Yeah.
Is that what would be better? So but from the bottom of my soul, I know that's not the answer. The answer is to keep asking these questions and keep having these conversations and just trust that this global awakening is happening now. And as more and more people wake up, only good is going to come from it. And
Yep.
it seems like you and I have had this awakening, almost this 0 to 1 moment where we're
Hmm.
like, whoa, everything over there, was an illusion, and that's a 0 to 1 moment.
Yep.
Imagine we've had that on an individual level. Imagine what happens when that happens on a societal level.
Yeah.
A societal 0 to 1 moment,
Yeah.
a societal awakening.
Yeah.
That's what excites me the most.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah. No, it's I think this is why this is
Yeah.
helpful because
Yeah.
like talking to somebody else about it because
Yeah.
honestly nobody else around me or around us understand it. And it's nice because doing this just like also it also like you can actually reach out to more people by doing the podcast, which I like a lot because I had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Ahmed Amos. He's
Yeah.
Sivadine Amos's brother.
Mhm.
Honestly, you should try to reach out to him for a podcast.
Yeah.
And man, this man he taught me a lot. I've been watching his stuff and wow, it's actually incredible to hear another doctor's perspective about health and medicine. And I think people should look into it. Don't just, I feel like we should not just trust what we're told. Just don't just, what's the term I'm looking for? It's do your own research, right? If something is wrong, don't just rely on somebody else to tell you this is what you should do. Do your own research, figure out what's the right thing for you, right? Because like you said, not it's the way I see it is like like a lot of doctors, you come to your doctor, let's say you have hypertension, right? And you come to the hospital, your doctor's, oh yeah, you know what? Let me just give you some metoprolol. Let me just give you lisinopril. Go home, you'll feel better in a couple of days, right? And then a few months later, they have to increase your dose by 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, because you're getting used to the medication, right? But instead of giving you medication, the doctors, they don't have the time to actually sit down with their patients and actually really get to the root of the problem, right? What if the doctors were like, okay, let me talk to you for a second. Like, how's your life going? Like, how's your health going? How's your stress level? What have you been eating? How's your anxiety? Have you been exercising? What if the doctors were doing that instead, right? Like, how different would healthcare be if we were actually like trying to fix, instead of putting a band-aid on the problem, instead of like, why don't we trying to fix the root cause of what's actually causing the hypertension or whatever disease it is, right? But I get it, right? There's no money in doing it without medication. So if we did that, with the pharmaceutical companies would basically, yeah, they would collapse, unfortunately. So I get it. It's a big industry and it's not easy to take down a big entity like that. But I think like literally diet and exercise and nature is like the best cure to
Mhm.
almost anything, like anything,
Mhm.
almost anything. Honestly,
Mhm.
that's what I've learned. And also these fake foods, the what we learn about how fat is bad for you, how meat is bad for you, all that. There's so many lies out there. Like literally, just I want people to start doing their own research and actually relearn everything. Everything you know is wrong, right? Everything you know
Yeah.
is wrong. Just start fresh. Start fresh. Honestly, yeah, crazy,
Yeah.
man.
What you said is so true, how it's actually extremely simple
Yeah,
to have good health. It's
yeah,
extremely simple. Eat real food,
yep,
movement, and sunlight,
yep,
avoid toxins.
yep,
Extremely simple. You don't
yeah.
need to be on all these medications. You don't need to
No,
be plugged into this fiat healthcare system.
no.
But if people knew how simple it was, then you'd have all these lost
There will be,
customers.
yeah, there will be, yeah, yep. Yeah, that's the quote from, I remember when I first heard that from Joe Bryan's video, What's the Problem?
Mhm.
How a healthy patient is a lost customer. I never really put these words together, but when he said that, I was like, oh man, like that's actually true.
Yeah.
The other thing too is when he said that too, it's like I started thinking about how they used to say how diabetes is genetics, a lot of diseases that are genetics. Like, is it actually genetics? Because they make you think that if your parents get diabetes, there's none you can do.
Mhm.
But I have family history of diabetes. I don't got diabetes.
Mhm.
I'm like, there are a lot of things that are like, you really look into it. Okay, are they doing this on purpose? Or are they doing this because they don't know? Do they truly don't know? Or are they just, I don't know. There's so many, oh man, there's so much in there. I don't know actually their true intent. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. What do you think about all of the,
That comment you made about genetics is
yeah,
also a paradigm shifting idea that I've had during this awakening as well. Because
yeah,
as a doctor, I'm taught that, yeah, a lot of conditions are just genetic.
yeah.
But I've had so many patients ask me, probably thousands of times, like, why did this happen? And I'm just like, oh,
It,
we don't really know. It's just genetics. Now, when they ask me that, I give them a different answer. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin, is that now that I've been exposed to these Bitcoin principles, I can actually bring that into the fiat world.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. We can't necessarily just leave the fiat world and go into the Bitcoin world. We can
Yep.
bring what we've learned into the fiat world.
Yep.
And so now when people ask me that, I tell them how much control they actually have over their own genetic destiny,
Mhm.
how they're not just a victim to their genes.
Yeah.
That's not the full story. That's might not even be any part of the story. That might just be this illusion that was sold to us. And it basically takes power away from the individual. It makes you seem like you're helpless. And if you have a condition, then just get plugged into the fiat healthcare system and we'll take care of you. But it
Right.
completely ignores how much power the individual has and how powerful our bodies are at healing themselves if you just allow them to. And if you just stay away from these toxic fiat influences, like all the toxins in the fiat products, all the toxins in fiat food, you likely can steer away from getting any of these conditions. A lot of these
Mm-hmm.
conditions are the result of the fiat system and these fiat things we're putting into our bodies.
Yep.
And
And the other thing about like the genetics part too is if your parents are eating crap food, right? And they bring that crap food in their home and their kids are eating the same crap food, obviously the kid is gonna have the same disease that the parent has, right? But if the kid is okay, no, dad, I don't want that. I don't want that food. I'm actually gonna eat healthy. Are they gonna have the same result? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the other thing about genetics that I don't like. I would just, oh, it's just genetics. It's just genetics. No, you have to look into the full picture. Like that, just saying is genetics and just wash off. It's just it's such a lazy answer.
yeah,
And it took me a long time to realize that I'm just like, yeah, nah, yeah, no, we can't. It's not. And like I said, like we said before, it's not the doctor's fault. They don't have, that's what they're told. And they don't have the time to really do the research and actually help all their patients because you guys have, I don't even know how many patients you have to take care of really, but you guys don't have the time to actually do these things. And also, how many hours in nutrition did you have in school?
I think I got 1 hour in my 4 years of medical school.
Damn.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. One
yeah,
hour.
yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah.
Damn.
Well,
And nutrition is almost
yeah.
like it's everything, really. Wow. That's nuts.
This conversation reminds me of this concept that I've learned from this guy named Joe Dispenza and this guy named Bruce Lipton.
Yep.
This idea of epigenetics,
Yep.
how our genes do not determine our fate. You can alter the environment in your body to activate genes,
Yeah.
and gene expression leads to the activation or the production of different proteins. So depending on the environment created by the chemicals in your body will determine what gene gets turned on, for how long it turns on, and that determines what proteins are produced. And so if you are living a life where you're calm and you're stress free, you're releasing different chemicals into your body that activate certain genes that then lead to the production of proteins that heal your body. But
Yep.
if you're stressed, you're releasing cortisol, and that leads to the suppression of certain genes and the activation of other destructive genes.
Yep.
So they often talk about how your environment plays a role in your health,
Yep.
but what they're actually referring to is the chemical environment, which you actually have control over with your thoughts and how you live your life.
Yeah.
So you actually have control of your genetic destiny by the way you live your life. And that's also a very empowering concept for people that you don't hear that ever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, that also reminds me of, I think the first time I heard it one from Seb Bunny, when he talks about how even in pregnant women, the way that even if they're stressed as well, that stress, those hormones also affect the baby as well. That's also important for pregnant women to actually try to be as stress-free as possible because that's going to affect the way that your kids grow up. So that I love that context actually. That's something I want to look more into for sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that is such a huge concept that Seb Bunny brings up because it highlights how kids that are born these days are
Yeah.
exposed to this toxic fiat energy
Yep.
before they're even born.
Yeah.
In their mother's womb, they're experiencing the chemicals from the mother and the fiat energy. And that's what makes me so excited about Bitcoin and hopeful about Bitcoin is imagine people that move over to this Bitcoin way of living and they calm their nervous system and the mother doesn't transmit all that negative energy to the baby. And now that baby
Right.
gets a fresh start with this
Yep.
fresh Bitcoin energy that's aligned with natural law and with the way that we're supposed to live our lives. And that, imagine that kid grows up and how much more positive energy he's going to put out into the world as opposed
Right.
to just reflecting back this negative fiat energy. And
Yeah.
imagine all these kids being born and how that's going to change the energy and the collective consciousness. This is what gets me excited.
Oh yeah, this is why when we talked about in the beginning, when we said Bitcoin is more than just money, more than why it's superior than gold. It's not like gold cannot do this to cannot have these effects on somebody, really. It's just crazy to think about that. Bitcoin can really solve like pregnant people's or babies' health. It's crazy to make the link between Bitcoin babies. It's wild to think about that, really. That's man.
Yeah, it is crazy, but then it's also not crazy too because you realize that money is the
Mhm.
foundation of our entire society. And it just makes logical sense that
Yeah,
the money system will have downstream effects on everything because
yeah.
money touches everything.
Yep.
So,
True.
yeah, it's so as disillusioning as it is when you first learn about this stuff, equally inspiring
Yeah,
and motivating to see the other side of the coin.
it is. It really is. It really is. It's fascinating how the term fix the money, fix the world. It sometimes people feel like, oh, it's a little it feels like it's saying too it feels like it's too much, but at the same time it's like it's simple, really. If you really fix the money, you can truly fix the world. Because the money, like you said, or said Bunny said, it's the downstream of everything is downstream of money. Yeah, you fix the money. I would be that's one thing that I wish I could do is live until 2140 or after that, because I want to see what happens after all the Bitcoin have been mined, a world where people no longer are suffering from. I don't know if everybody will adopt Bitcoin at that point. I'm hoping so, but I want to see a world where everybody has perfect money, a world where nobody's suffering from inflation, from their energy and their time being stolen from them. I would love to see a world like this to see, okay, is civilization better? Are people like happier, or is our food better? I would love to see. I'm jealous of the kids coming nowadays because I'm like, yo, I want to see the future. Like I love that we're at the beginning of
Mhm.
this, but I want to see how this plays out really. I wish I could freeze my brain and save it for after 2140 so that I could see how the world is playing out really. I'm sure we'll probably see the beginning of it. I'm sure of it because I'm already seeing it in but only in the Bitcoin community, right? Like we're seeing a lot of Bitcoiners, they're having more kids, they're actually
Mhm.
happier, they are doing stuff that they love doing, they're actually enjoying their hobbies. But I want to see that in a bigger like level, like where it's like a whole city full of Bitcoiners. People are happy. Not even I don't even like the term not full of Bitcoiners, just full of people being happy because their money is not being debased. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, it's such an incredible thing to be a part of it right now at such an
Yeah.
early stage because that's how it starts. We want to see it in the way that you are talking about in 2140,
Yep.
but it had to start at some point, and it's
Right.
starting now. And we are lucky to be here at the beginning phase. And there are people that are starting that shift.
Yep.
Like you talk about Bitcoiners that have started that shift.
Yep.
It has to start somewhere, and then it's
Yep.
going to slowly spread, and then it's going to reach a point where it's just going to reach this critical point, and then society is just going to move over into this whole new way of living, and it's going to just elevate society in every possible way.
Oh
And
yeah.
people are going to relate to each other in better ways. We're going to be more productive. We're going to advance as a civilization and start being intergalactic and exploring the stars and the galaxy and other realms. And
Yep.
right, if you think about that in comparison to where we are now with all the energy waste and how unproductive we are and how we've got the sun and we haven't even really figured out how to perfectly extract that energy. We're getting our energy from fossil fuels and destroying the rainforest and the environment.
Yeah.
Like we have so much more potential, but
Oh yeah.
we're nowhere near our where we could be operating.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think in the future, like we will have people will be doing what they are best at, and they'll have the ability to do that. And I think that's gonna be amazing. And I think humanity is gonna actually get better because of it. Because
Mhm.
you won't have the future, I don't know, the future Elon Musk stuck at a job because he has to pay his student loan debt. You know what I'm saying? You won't have
Right.
the future Einstein stuck doing I don't know, at a fast food restaurant because he's struggling financially. You know what I'm saying? So having the ability to actually the freedom to do what you want and what you're best at, I think that's one of the best thing about Bitcoin, really. I think that's one of the most underrated thing about Bitcoin because it truly gives you the freedom to do what you want. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the way the light is hitting you right now,
Yeah.
it's compelling me to talk about this quote that I
Yeah.
recently discovered
Yep.
about how everything the light touches turns to light. And that's
Damn.
basically what Bitcoin is doing.
Yeah.
It's exposing the darkness in our world.
Yep.
And I'm an incredibly optimistic person. I hate being pessimistic,
Mhm.
but I feel like we need to talk about this darkness that's in our world
Mhm.
because you can't just ignore it. If
Yeah.
you just ignore it, it's going to persist. The way that you make things better is by first being aware and realizing that there is this darkness.
Yep.
And that doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist. There's some dark forces in our world now, and Bitcoin is shining a light on those dark forces. And the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is not only does it shine a light on it, but it transforms the darkness into light. It's such an incredible
Yeah.
concept.
Oh yeah.
Bitcoin's a mirror. It exposes not only issues in our society, but in ourselves.
Yeah.
So can you expand upon that concept of Bitcoin as a light and as a
Yeah.
mirror?
It shows you the truth. It
Mm,
shows you the truth, but I think the tough part for me is the hard, not for me, but it shows you the darkness is depressing, right?
mhm.
Like we talked about the going down those rabbit holes on like medications, diet, food. Like when you go down those rabbit holes, it's depressing because we both went to school and that's not what we're told at all. It's a very dark path to go and learn that, oh, this I've been doing this wrong. I've been telling the wrong thing to to people, to my friends, to my family. But then you're right though, like Bitcoin does shine a light and shows you, hey, look,
Mm,
this is what's going on. It does show you like what's truly going on, shows you the truth. And it's up to you. It's up to you to actually stay in the darkness, right? Because we
mhm,
could both say, "Oh man, F this world. You know
mhm,
what? This is a dark world. There's no hope. You know what? F this. I'm out. I'm just gonna do
mhm.
my thing." But look at what we're doing. We're actually exposing the truth, we're not giving medical advice. We're just telling people, hey, go do your own research. If
Yeah,
you don't believe us, go look it up. I will send you articles. I will
yeah.
send you research that were like buried. I will send you the cholesterol research if you want. Like I will send you everything that I found. This is not fake news. This is like I have proof, right? All of these darkness it's as bad as like the 2% inflation lie. Actually, I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know which one is worse. Do you think that the 2% inflation lie is worse than the diet and pharmaceutical lies actually? What do you think about that one actually?
I think it's the exact same. I
Yeah,
think it's both tapped into the exact same dark force. And
yeah,
so it's just an expression of that dark force in different areas. And
right.
you see it manifest in different areas. And if you look at different areas, you'll see that exact same dark force manifest in that area. So we happen to be in healthcare, so
Yep,
we see that dark force manifesting there. But
yep,
if you were to look in any other area, you'd see that dark force manifest there as
right.
well.
Because it's crazy because like when I first started, even now, I'm like, it's one thing to lie about the money and be like, oh yeah, we're still on your wealth slowly. And then we found a way to navigate away from that. But it's also another thing to steal in someone's time also by I don't want to say it the wrong way so that the podcast doesn't get canceled, but it's also another way to steal someone's time by like slowly poisoning them with false information about health and diet. That goes back into the dark path that we're talking about. There's all the reports about cholesterol, the pyramid food, all of these things. And I'm sure there are like other I don't know if you're aware of any other, I guess, lies about like in other industries. All I know about is the money in healthcare and medicine. That's all I know about. Do you know about any other, I guess, no, I don't want to say lie, but
Well,
misinformation in other industries
I,
as well?
I think if you look at really any other industry, like the education system,
Oh,
if you look at that about how it's designed almost like a prison with
yeah,
the, and it's designed to make people into essentially like factory workers for the system.
yeah, yeah.
So you look into that. I think if you look into also like the energy system, I think there's a lot of
Uh-huh.
corruption there. And
Okay.
like the narrative that was out there about how Bitcoin's bad for the environment, it,
Yeah.
you see how like how twisted that is, how we're
Yeah.
just being gaslit because
Yeah.
Bitcoin is so good for the environment. It encourages people to be creative about coming up with renewable sources of energy, and it's only just helped that problem. And I think that what they did is that they demonized Bitcoin so that they don't have to actually have face any scrutiny for what all the corruption that's going on currently. So I
Yeah.
think I haven't really looked into it that much, but I think it's the same general principle that probably applies to these other industries as well.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I know. Yeah, no, I haven't looked into any other industries, but you're right. It's everything like we talked about before. It's like it goes back to you have to, in order for you to understand Bitcoin, you have to go in knowing or acknowledging that nothing. Going with a
Mhm.
fresh mind. Think that, hey, look, everything that I was told was wrong. And I'm just going in learning a whole different system. It's it's yeah, it's a journey that's not going to be easy. I'm not gonna learning Bitcoin is not gonna be easy. If you're just in it for the money, of course it's gonna be easy because you're gonna beat inflation, of course. That's easy. But once you dive into the truth, and if you want to look, if once you dive into, I think once everybody's able to beat inflation, right? Like the next thing that comes is okay, if I'm gonna be wealthy, right, in the next 20 years. Now I want to live long. I want to live healthy. So
Mhm.
once everybody's able to like once everybody's comfortable knowing that, okay, my savings are not gonna be eating away by inflation. I actually have a retirement account. Okay, how do I preserve my health? How do I stay healthy so that I can enjoy my money? I think that's when
Mhm.
people are gonna start seeing those like little bit of darkness that we've been talking about. Oh, I should not be eating this. Oh, this thing is poisonous. Oh, the vegetable oil is not vegetable. Oh. So that's when you start looking into these little things
Yeah.
that people have been saying for so long that are like literal scams. It's just and I don't understand how like it's so bad right now. Like I walk into stores, into the grocery stores, and I'm looking around, I'm like, ain't no way. How are we gonna go from how are we gonna go from that to a healthy grocery stores? Like I'm yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Because I see seed oils everywhere. And these things
Mhm.
are meant to be in cars. They're not meant to be in our bodies
Yeah.
at all. It's man, it's crazy.
Yeah, you were talking about which one is worse, the money and the inflation versus what they're
Yeah,
doing with our health.
yeah,
And I think they're equally bad because
yeah,
they both are tapped into the same thing, which is your life force. Your money
yes.
represents your time and energy, which is your life force. There's nothing more valuable than your life force. And your health is also your life force. And there's nothing more valuable than that. Those are
Yeah,
both things that are priceless. And
yeah.
it's as humans, where it represents human life.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
if you're stealing from that, those are just, it's equally bad on both fronts, which is
Yeah.
why it's so important to understand that health and wealth are two sides of the same coin. So you had mentioned that in 20 years, people will realize once they get the money thing handled, then they'll focus on their health. But
Mhm.
that's why I think it's important for you and I to put this message out there that you need to focus on your health now. You need to
Right.
see what's going on,
Yep.
what the fiat system is doing to your body now. Because if you wait 20 years, it might be too late.
Yeah, yeah. No, sorry. I didn't mean like in 20 years that, no, sorry.
Yeah.
I meant if you already know what we know, right? You
Yeah.
already know that in 20 years we'll be okay. So I
Yeah.
can start
Yeah. Yeah.
focusing on my health now. That's what I meant.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So once people realize that, oh, okay, I'll be okay in the future,
Yeah.
then okay, then now I'm like, I think that also changed my life a lot because once I understood Bitcoin and I was like, okay, like I was convicted. I was like, okay, I can actually Now I go on walks all the time. I go on runs. I go play soccer.
Yeah.
I'm like more active. I'm losing weight. I know it may
Yeah.
not look like it, but I'm actually like, I'm way healthier than I was
Yeah.
like 3 years ago. I'm like, oh wow, this is like a different, it feels different. Like it, not eating trash and actually moving your body and getting some sun makes such a difference in your life, in your mood. It's
Hmm.
just, it's so underrated. Go outside, touch some grass. Don't even something as simple as blue light, something at night. Just don't stay at your screen for too long. There's so many little things that you can do to
Hmm.
improve your life. Yeah, it's just there's so much to it. And all of that is because of Bitcoin, because now I can preserve my time and energy into something that won't be debased. That's all it took. That's all it took, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Expanding on how that light is hitting you, I feel
Yeah.
like that's like a sign for the universe to keep talking about this light.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
the most beautiful thing about Bitcoin is that it shines a light on these problems, but it allows you to not get stuck there. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times, yeah, it's easy to recognize there's problems, and a lot of times you get stuck there. But
Hmm.
the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is it shows you the problem, and then it shows you the light and guides
Yeah.
you in a new direction. It
Yeah.
illuminates a new path. In addition to
Yeah.
exposing the old bad path or the current bad path, it illuminates the light for this path forward.
Yep.
And
Yeah, there
it's
is a solution.
yeah, and
No,
so
I like that.
that's incredible because it for the individual, it shows this new path for you to go down. And also for society, it's illuminating a new path for society to go down. And I like how you talked about on one of your videos about how it did expose this new path for you and you actually are going down that new path. And that's such a beautiful thing. Can you
Yeah.
talk about how you were going down this one path, but then once you had this awakening, now you're going down a different path?
Yeah, I think it was like mostly, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think it goes back to I think one thing that I remember, that I will always remember, is my dad telling me that, hey, if something is not working for you, if you are with a woman and this woman is not treating you good, you need to leave. Or anything in your life. I applied this advice to everything in my life. If something is not working for me, I'm going to leave. And the thing is, I did not know that the fiat system was not working for me. I did not know that.
Mhm.
I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know it was the fiat system necessarily. I just know something is wrong, so I need to look into it. And when I looked into it, I realized, oh, okay, like this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And I need to go on in a new path. But the thing about going on down this new path is that it's difficult because going against what everybody else in society is doing, don't like going in a different path. Like, you ever seen those memes where there's like a line of people going this way, and then it's just this one guy that's, yeah, I don't think this is right for me. I'm just gonna go that way. Like, it takes guts to actually go the opposite way. And because everything, I want to say that almost everything that I've done in my life, I've always had people question me. Even going to nursing school, I've had people question me about it. People did good because I was supposed to go to pharmacy school, and people were like, "No, you're a man. You're supposed to go to pharmacy school. Like, you're not supposed to be a nurse. Men don't become nurses." You know what I'm saying? I've had people, like, even investing. People are like, "Don't invest your money. It's risky." Or buying Bitcoin. People are like, "No, no, don't invest." Like, it's been everything that I do, everything that I've done have been I've had people say no. And now it's like, you have to have the strength and the courage to actually believe in yourself. And actually, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. And it's going to become easier to do once everybody else starts to transition over to that path. I can't even imagine being a Bitcoiner in the
Yeah.
beginning, right?
Hmm.
Being a Bitcoiner in 2010, 2013. I can't even imagine being a Bitcoiner back then, because there are less people. It's a lot easier to understand Bitcoin now because now you have big institutions, you have governments buying it, you have so many things going on, and still people are like sleeping on this. How?
Yeah.
How do you have all this happening and people are just like, oh, no, it's this risky thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, no, going down the path it's going to be a lonely path, but what we're doing right now and educating people and actually exposing some truth will make it easier for people to transition, because they'll realize that, oh, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. There's somebody else going through the same thing. There's another, oh, I know this doctor that's been going through this, or I know this nurse that's been going down that path, that understand, that's going through the same problem that I'm going through. Oh, they started learning about Bitcoin and their life got better. Maybe I should look into it. So by doing this, it makes the path easier because you now can follow somebody. Because honestly, a lot of people are followers, they're not leaders. And I'm not saying I'm a leader, but I'm willing to take the risk. And sometimes people, all they need is to see someone do it first before they do it. And I needed that too. I needed somebody else to get into Bitcoin before I did it. And we just happened to be one of the earlier Bitcoiners. I know it may not seem like it, but honestly, we are some of the earliest Bitcoiners out there, really. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for being so honest about your experiences and how it hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
these are important discussions that us Bitcoiners need to be having because
Yeah.
it is tough and
Mhm.
it can have this really, it can blow up your life in a way. And I know
Yep.
I've experienced that with some really important relationships in my life have kind of gotten ruptured because of this.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. So I'm curious, have you experienced any changes in your relationships? Because I realize that it's about kind of shedding your fiat identity. So
Mhm.
it goes way deeper than
Yeah.
just, oh, I'm into Bitcoin. We are shedding our fiat identity. Everything we thought we were, and anything that was an illusion sheds away, and you start questioning relationships and the roles you were playing, and was it rooted in truth or illusion? And it's a crazy process. I'm hopeful that at the end of the process, it's things will. There's this concept that we're resonating at a new frequency right now, and when you start resonating at a new frequency, things that aren't resonating with that frequency, it's okay to just let them fall away, and
Yep.
then just allow things that are resonating at that frequency to match you. And
Yeah.
that has helped me during this transition. But I'm
Yeah.
just curious what your experience has been like.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't think I've lost any relationship necessarily, but I find it easier to become friends with Bitcoin, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. It's hard to make new friends
Yeah.
that are not Bitcoiners. I don't know if you've experienced the same
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's I don't know. One thing that I've realized that I believe it was Robin, Robin Sears, who came on my podcast a few weeks ago. He said that the closer people are to his circle, like the more time people spend with him, the more they understand Bitcoin. And I I feel the same way actually now because I was like, oh, okay. I realized that the people that I see the most, they are the one asking me about Bitcoin and they are the one being exposed to what I have to say. And I think, and I see it too, the people that I don't see that often, they don't understand Bitcoin. They truly don't. So the closer people are to me, and the more they watch what I do, the more convicted they are about Bitcoin because they are like, oh, okay, this guy's doing it. Even if they have doubts, it's like sparks a little bit of curiosity on it. It's like the same thing the other day, actually. So my wife and I are both nurses, and she's not really a Bitcoiner. She's like, hey, you know what? Do what you gotta do. Take our money as long as you don't lose it. I trust you. Do what you gotta do. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take care of us. But when I talk to her about Bitcoin, it always feels like I'm just talking to a wall. She's like, yeah, Bitcoin, Bitcoin this. But the other day we are going to a lake, and I don't know how this conversation popped up, and we started talking about inflation and money printing and all that, and I was about to talk about it, and she started talking about inflation and money printing, and I was like, oh shit, you've been listening to me? She explained it so good. I was like, dude, you should be doing my videos. Like, what? Yo, how? So it's like she's starting to get it because I talk about it much. I'm like, so okay. So I'm like, okay. So I realized that, yeah, like the closer you are to me, like the more convicted, the more, I guess, the more you will understand Bitcoin. So yeah, I think that's the way I see it now. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this conversation is just flying by.
Yeah.
I'm so appreciative of you coming on. But there's
Yeah.
one last question if you have time.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Yep.
It's a question that you asked me that I really liked. If you could go
Oh.
back in time and give yourself, your past self, one piece of advice
Yeah.
outside of buy more Bitcoin, what would it
Yeah.
be?
Oh, that's my favorite question. That's my favorite question. Oh, yeah, damn. I've had so many great questions from all my guests, and this one is deep. I would say that don't be afraid to make mistakes and trust your gut because it, because if I didn't trust my gut, I would not be doing this. I would not be a nurse. I would not be here doing podcasts. I would not be saving in Bitcoin. I would not be doing any of this. Nobody in my circle told me to do this. It's something that I had to do my own research. I had to learn myself and do myself. Because if I was listening to everybody else around me, I'll just be a doctor or be a pharmacist and I'll just be miserable. It's just you have to trust your gut and do what you think is right. And it's okay to make mistakes. And I've made a lot of mistakes. And to me, a mistake is not a failure if you learn from it. A mistake is just a learning opportunity. It's okay to fail. Yeah, you should listen to your elders, but also they don't, it's a new generation, right? Some of the older people telling you what to do don't know everything in this new generation, right? You can't always listen to them, but take their advice and apply it in a way that works best for you. So follow your path, do what you think is right, trust your gut, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. So I guess that's, yeah. If I couldn't buy Bitcoin, man, yeah, I think that's what I would tell myself for sure. Yeah.
That was great. Thank you so much for this whole conversation. I can imagine a lot of people are going to hopefully get a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I sure
Yeah.
hope so.
So
I love it, man. Thank you for having me on,
yeah,
man. I appreciate that.
yeah. Can you let the listeners know where they can find you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm on YouTube and at Nurse HODL and also on X, also at Nurse HODL. So yeah, you can find me there. I'm always willing to talk to anybody. If you want to come on my podcast or if you want me to come on your podcast, man, I am down. I'm always down to talk about Bitcoin, man. It's one of my favorite subject right now. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah,
Man,
no, thanks again for having me on, man. I always love talking to you, man.
yeah.
You make it easy to talk to. I don't know, man. There's something nice about our conversation sometimes, man. I could talk to you for days, man. Sorry I feel like we just talked for so long.
No, man, I think we're both tapped into something, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to work with you more in the future. I think
Yep.
we make a great team. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
I'm happy to collaborate more in the
Same here,
future for sure.
man.
Yeah.
Same here. No, we'll talk again for
Yeah.
sure, man. I love it. I
All
love
right.
it.
All right. Yeah. Take care.
Yeah, you too, man.